Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today we want to sew a pair of shorts for kids, but the same principle can be applied to adults too. I'm going to draw my own pattern based on the clothes that fits. This one is for my 11 years old daughter. The store-bought pants are always too big on the top because she's skinny, so it's a good idea to make it at home. And the basic sewing for shorts is really not that difficult. So we are going to trace the pattern from existing clothes. Sometimes I'm not sure if the dimension is the best fit, so I can refer to a second clothes. And I'm not going to do all the detail of the jeans. It will be just a very simple elastic top, and then 4 pieces of fabric, 2 on the front side and 2 on the back side. And for this pants, the button has a cut edge, but I just want to make a basic finished edge. So I'm going to extend about 1 inch or 1.5 inch so I can fold it back in and sew up to finish it up. So the first thing is to find a big piece of paper, or you can use a brown craft paper or tissue paper for the gift wrapping. But any paper will do. If you don't have big enough size, you can just tape them together. So here is the shorts I want to trace the pattern from, and because it has an elastic top, you can stretch it out. And once you stretch it out, you can see it's actually more like a rectangle or square shape. And we are going to start by doing the front piece, because those 2 pieces are just symmetrical image. We can use the back side of 1 piece for the other side. So we try to flatten the piece as much as we can and trace the outline of this piece. And the first draft doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of see through the paper and just draw the edge of this fabric. And I know this can be a rectangle or square, so I just make it a rectangle on that side. And the center area, and make sure I trace closely. And this part is tricky. I'm trying to open up the fabric as much as I can to keep it flat, like that. Match up on other sides. Goes here and goes here. You see the yellow part? That's the line. And then the bottom line. And for the bottom hem, the front is shorter than the back, and that's just the way it is. So I will mark it the center from here so I don't get confused. And now I just want to add the seam allowance. For the bottom part, I'm going to leave 1.5 inches. You can leave 1 inch and make a smaller seam. It's up to you. And other sides, I'm going to leave 0.5 inch. And measure more carefully around this angle, because it's a very strange curve. And you can always use a ruler to make the pattern straight. Or if you like a little bit curved, it's up to you. You can also use a French curve if you have one. Now I just need to finish up all the seam allowance, 1/2 inch, and then we'll do the back piece. The back side is the same for tracing the pattern, and you can see this piece is longer. Other than that, it's pretty close to the front piece. So I try to flatten the fabric as much as I can, and I think I will start tracing from this area first, because this area is a little bit complicated. So I flatten the fabric piece. Don't worry about the other side, it will stand up. And I'm going to trace from here. The bottom line. This line here. And then I can move around again. And here is an elastic line. And I'm going to open up this side. So we open up this way so you can see this line. Everything match up. Now we can continue drawing. My tracing paper is too short, so I'm going to copy it to a new tracing paper and then add seam allowance. But you can see that's the shape of the back piece. And if you want it longer, you can always continue the bottom hem to make it longer. This is the back piece after I trace it again and use ruler and add seam allowance. So that will be piece here. You can double check. And another way to trace is to use a tool. It has a wheel with sharp triangle. So for example, you want to trace the pocket. You can put your tracing paper on top and then just go over the top with the tool. You can control how light or how heavy you want, and it marks some holes on the paper, and then you can mark over the holes. And the good thing about this one is it's easy to go over any curve or any small areas. You can see it creates some outline. It creates some holes, and then you can just draw over it. And the next part is elastic. And try to stretch out and see the dimension of the fabric. And I know when I stretch out, it's the same as the bottom here. So I'll just measure here. And this is 14 inches. It's about 16 inches in the front and the back side. I know the back side is bigger piece and the front is smaller, but for the elastic part, we really don't care about the front and back because we want the total length. So 16 inch times 2 is 32 inches. That's the total dimension of this elastic. 32 inches by... This one has 1.5 inch in the front. We always want to add the seam allowance, so I will have 2 inch in the front and 2 inch in the back. And depends on the size of your elastic. It doesn't have to be that thick. It's your design, your choice. I'm going to use a smaller elastic. This one is about 1/2 inch. so I really don't need a big pocket. I'm just going to make a pocket and then thread through the elastic. Now I trace over with ruler and mark all the pieces. That's the 3 pieces of the pattern for the shorts. Here is the back center and front center. We cut 2 pieces and one will be reversed because it will be symmetrical. And the same with the front piece. We cut one directly this way and the other one we just flip it over and cut it this way. And here is our elastic casing. I put a folding arrow here, so we will fold the fabric this side. So when we cut 16 inches, it will double, become 32 inches, and we have 4-inch width, plus the half-inch seam allowance. And you can adjust the dimension based on your preference.